Good evening. I'd like to call the City Council meeting of Monday, August 7, 2023 to order. If I can have our city clerk please call the roll.
Mayor Flores.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Noble is absent tonight, sorry. Councilmember Tharp.
Present.
Councilmember Dugo.
Here.
Councilmember Diaz.
Here.
Councilmember Bousquet.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
All rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, have a motion made by Councilmember Bousquet, second by Councilmember Tharp. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries 4-0. At this point in time, I'd like to open comments from the public for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, step forward and state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none. We don't have any special business today. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve this consent agenda.
Second. Oh, go ahead. Second.
All right, I have a motion made by Councilmember Bousquet, second by Councilmember Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries 4-0. Moving on to our regular agenda, there is no items tonight, so we're moving on to our only item here tonight, which is a discussion item on the Education Advisory Committee creation resolution, and we have our city manager, Andrew McHugh, presenting.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to bring this before, excuse me. I wanted to bring this up as a discussion item before I brought it forward for consideration and adoption by the council, just because it is a new board and there's a lot that I included in with the resolution, and I wanted to go over those items quickly. You do have a copy of it. A copy was sent to you as well. So I'm sure you've had an opportunity to review it, but I'm going to touch on some of the highlights of it so that I can get some feedback and see if we're going in the right direction or if there are some things that should be considered differently. Before I do go over it, though, one thing that I want to say regarding the establishment of an Education Advisory Committee. I think it's something that, in establishing something like this, it provides a partnership with the school board, our public schools, our private schools, charter schools in the city, and it only brings benefit to the city. Several years ago, I had conversations related to economic development, and one of the comments made to me is, you don't have any A-rated schools. And what am I selling with no A-rated schools? And I think that while we know that there's not direct things that we can do as a city, I think that there are relationships and there are things that we can do from an advisory board perspective that can really highlight our schools and show a very strong partnership with our schools, our families, and hopefully we'll see some changes based on that. Okay, so understanding the establishment of the Education Advisory Board, we're looking at, the council is looking towards maintaining quality education in the city, and it's in the best interest of the residents and the students at the city, the students that attend our city schools. In looking at the different sections of the resolution, it's advisory only, can be abolished or disbanded at any time or reorganized at any time by the city council. The purpose of is to serve as a liaison between the City of Green Acres, Palm Beach County School District, all public, private, charter schools located in the city in order to improve and enhance communication between all parties, promote and provide public awareness for programs, opportunities, and initiatives of public, private, and charter schools located within the city, to recognize and promote the accomplishments of students, educators, public, private, and public, private, and charter schools located in the city, and monitor school activities and report on those impacting the city as needed. So the composition, we're looking at 5 members, 1 alternate member. We are looking at doing staggered terms at first. And in doing so, and you will see later on just with some of the responsibilities, this is going to take the place of the scholarship committee. So the scholarship process will fall under the Education Advisory Board. Council will, as in many other appointments that are made, first regular meeting in April after initial appointments are made, that's when appointments will be done. One council member would serve as a liaison but have no voting power. A student from John I. Leonard would also serve as a liaison but have no voting power. One of the things brought up by our Director of Community and Recreation Services is, would the council want to consider a student from our youth programs, particularly a middle school student from our youth programs? Again, that would have no voting power, and then in addition, a staff person within Community and Recreation Services would serve as the board coordinator, and we were looking at that being the Community Services Coordinator position. So then moving on to the next page, because really vacancies, filling of vacancies, that's standard. Moving on to qualifications. Board members shall meet the following qualifications at the time of their appointment and throughout the course of their service. Have to be residents of the city, have a background in education and/or experience in the field of education, be a member of a parent-teacher organization, parent-teacher association, school advisory council, or any other similar organization within the Palm Beach County School District, public, private, or charter school located within the city. Now, granted, whether or not the council wants to just keep it to schools located in the city, or that if they have their city residents, but they may be a part of an association or a parent-teacher organization that is at another school, that's something that can be considered as well. Or be a parent, legal guardian of a child currently enrolled in a city, public, private, or charter school. Following residents shall not be eligible to serve on the board as regular or alternate members: an employee of the Palm Beach County School District, a private or charter school located within the city, an employee of an organization funded by the district, or an employee of a charter management organization or charter education management organization. Really don't need to go over the next, that's just failing to meet the qualifications. So in looking at the duties, we have the scholarships, again, overseeing and conducting the interviews and recommending up to 10 scholarships, awards each year to high school and/or college eligible students who reside in the city. Additionally, one of the things that we put in here was school showcases, and understanding we're not looking to have big, events, but really it's more informational sessions. And it goes along with having the members of the advisory board being liaisons to the schools. So it's really informational sessions, opportunities to interact with the schools, staff, students, providing public awareness for programs, opportunities, initiatives occurring in those schools. The school liaison, each board member and alternate member would have a liaison. They would each have 2 schools of the 12 schools in the city. There are 9 Palm Beach County schools, and then we have 3, we have private and a Montessori school. Liaisons, their duties would consist of determining needs, programs, initiatives, providing any information impacting the city residents, reporting information back to the board. And then additionally, we included a chair's initiative. The chair's initiative is really something that, the chair each year would introduce. It could be something like doing reading after school with students. I know that we've had conversations with employees here at the city in the past that had a great interest in, going to our schools and helping with reading, things like that. So, opportunities like that. It does not have to be overly involved, but it's just something that maybe it's the focus for that particular year. And then as far as officers, there would be a chair and a vice chair. A quorum would consist of 3 members present, the alternate member would not be part of that quorum, and rules of procedure would really be substantially in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order. So there's a lot of information there. I did not want to just bring that resolution forward without some consideration and discussion. But if there's anything that you have questions on or anything that you'd like us to look at further, we would be happy to do so before we bring it back for final consideration and adoption.
Are there any comments or questions from the council? I'll start. Can you clarify for me from the school's perspective, can they all attend the meeting?
Sure, they can all attend the meetings, absolutely.
So they can send a
They can send
representative?
representatives from all the schools, yes, and they will be invited. They will get our meeting dates so that they know when our meetings are, when the regular meetings are.
Perfect, and that'll include private.
Yes, and
charter.
include the the two private and the charter schools.
Perfect. Councilmember Tharp, and then Councilmember Diaz.
I like the idea of including the middle school as a liaison. We got some great feedback from them with crosswalks in the past. So I think any input from the students is greatly welcomed.
Okay?
Councilmember Diaz.
I'm going to take a couple minutes here. I want to just start by saying thank you, and I'm so incredibly happy to see this coming forward. Education really is the conduit to help a community. We can educate out of poverty. We can educate out of so many different circumstances. So to see that the council is considering this, I want to just thank my fellow council members. I want to thank City Manager McHugh for working on this. A couple of quick things. I do love the idea of having a middle schooler. As someone who is around them all day long, I can tell you they come up with things that adults would never think about that are very relevant. So I do love that idea. The only other feedback I have is while I know we have 12 schools that are within the city, we learned recently when we had the redistricting situation of the ABC committee that we only have one high school in the city of Green Acres. However, our children are zoned into 5 different high schools. So I would love to see that expanded to include any schools to which our students are zoned for, not just those that reside within our city limits. With that said, I would then question if perhaps the number of members is a little low, because obviously, you know, having the liaison duties, which I think is phenomenal, that might get a little taxing on just that handful of members. So perhaps raising the number of members that are in the committee. And that's it. That's all I have for now. But again, thank you so much for bringing this forward and considering this.
Any other comments from the council? I will agree with Councilmember Diaz that we should extend the invite to any surrounding schools that our students may go to geographically, because some could apply for our choice program, obviously there. But, you know, the new high school, Santa Lucia's, I believe, gets some of our students, and so I think they should have a seat at the table.
Yep.
And in regards to the, what was it, the members? So that's going to be, how many members, 6?
It's 5 plus an alternate, but I think what we might do is, we do have the maps. I pulled the maps that show all the schools from elementary to high school that our students are zoned for. So how about if we go back, take a look at the total number of schools, and then potentially look at the number of members, so to kind of balance that out. I don't know that I want to say, let's go with this number of members without seeing the total number of schools first.
Is each council member choosing a person, or is it just an application process?
It's just an application process. I didn't have that in there, but we can put that if the council desires to do that.
I don't have any preference on that. But if it, I mean, we can go to 7, 9, I don't know.
Yeah, I think,
I'll let you guys.
looking at the total number of schools, yes, it could be, depending on how they're zoned. I mean, if we're thinking it's adding at least 4 more, because we only have 1 high school, so that's the 16, and then depending on, yeah, it could get up there, so we'll take a look, okay.
Excellent. Quick question, when we're inviting the schools, are we also going to invite their SAC people? So because the parents are the middle person, right, between the school and the message that gets home. And perhaps I know Councilmember Diaz had, this is sort of her idea. I don't know if we thought about, and it doesn't have to be every meeting, but perhaps that's every so often we invite the SAC parents so that they're also involved, because I think they can also provide a different perspective that perhaps administrators won't. So once again, it might be nice that maybe a quarterly or whatever, we invite the parents so that they're also, we can.
Well, and I think, and I agree, and I think that once the board is established, it's really doing some outreach with the schools, determining, who's the head of their PTAs and, things like that, the associations within the school, and then making sure that they have our meeting schedules, and we'll make sure that we put that information out there. So, we'll do all of that networking and providing that information once it's established. We can do that.
Any other comments or question? Councilmember Dugo and then Diaz.
Just a quick question. Our scholarship committee, I thought, gave 5 scholarships. We moved it up to 10
Oh, it was 10 this past year.
last year?
It's I believe 6 of them are budgeted, 4 of them come from the textile funds,
Gotcha.
or 5 and 5, but I believe it's 6 and 4.
Which, by the way, the one on Lake Worth, by the middle school, they pried it open, it's wide open.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to let you know about that. Councilmember Diaz.
I just have a question, and it's a word choice question, and it might just be in my brain. Do we need to call it a board? I just wonder if we call it an education board, if that gets confusing with school board for,
I initially had it as an education advisory committee. That's what I had it at first. We can revert back to committee if you'd prefer.
I just wouldn't want parents to be confused with, I'm going to the board meeting and show up here instead of thinking they're going to a school board meeting.
Yep, we can do that.
Anyone else? We good to move forward? Any objections? All right. Got the green light?
All right, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're now moving on to comments from the public on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Don't everybody get up at once. Moving on to city manager's report, City Manager Andrew McHugh.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items for tonight. As a follow-up to the discussion, I believe it was at the last council meeting regarding a safety assessment for the new youth programs building. Staff and our engineer and design firm did meet with PBSO to go over that. We are going to have a meeting with Fire Rescue as well, and all of those recommendations will be put in, or we'll make sure that we're prioritizing the recommendations to be included as part of the final design for the building. So I just wanted to update you on that. And just a few other updates. If you have not been over to the original section, the roundabout is going in, and it's looking really good. I think once we put the clock in, it's going to look really nice there at that intersection, so we're pretty excited about that. Dillman Trail is nearing completion, and if you're not familiar, Dillman Trail starts at Forest Hill and goes all the way up to Dillman Road, so you can actually take, I did Saturday morning, you can start at Community Park and take Community Park all the way up to Dillman Road. So you just go through Community Park, come up Pinehurst, cross over into Okeechobee, and then go up the Dillman Trail. It's a really nice trail. If anyone likes, going on the trails, it's really nice. So we'll have some kind of formal opening of that as well. And then just as a reminder, on the 12th of this month, we'll have our diaper distribution. This is the first one in Palm Beach County. We will be the first ones to be holding this event from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Pre-registration is required, so it's not something like our food distributions where people can just show up. They have to pre-register. If you have families that are in need of diapers, we can get that information to you so that you can provide that information so that they are pre-registered. This is being done in partnership with the United Way of Palm Beach County and the Miami Diaper Bank. So we're pretty excited about it. We're hopeful that we'll be able to do some more here after this very first one. And then last but not least, I just want to take a moment to thank our Fire Rescue for their response to the fire at Pine Glen. Really amazing job, and it was handled very quickly, very professionally. Everyone, thankfully, while we did have a couple firefighters that had to go to the hospital, thankfully they were okay. No one was injured on the property. So, and we received a very, very nice letter from the president of their association just regarding the professionalism, the response, and all the follow-up. So very grateful for that. Thank you very much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Our city attorney's report, Attorney Torcivia.
Good evening. You all heard about Form 6, I'm sure. And so we'll be doing a comprehensive presentation on that at one of the upcoming meetings. But as you're all aware, there's extensive reporting requirements for anybody who's in office on January 1st, 2024.
And when is that due?
Right now, most elected officials, local officials file a Form 1, which discloses your, in general terms, your assets and liabilities. This Form 6 is much more extensive, and it requires a thorough listing of any assets that are over $1,000, and also liabilities. So for income, you can attach your tax return if you'd like, but that, even if you did that, you still have to list assets. So if you have a, jewelry that's worth over $1,000, you have to list that. And they're still working through whether that means you can lump it together and say jewelry and your fine artwork and other things that we all have, I'm sure, and aggregate that or not. But that's, when we do the presentation, we'll get into more details, but it is very extensive. Legislators have had to file this for a number of years. I think over the last few years, they've extended it to county commissioners and school board members, and this year they've extended it now to municipalities. And the League of Cities fought against this. They specifically tried to get an exemption for cities under a certain size population, anywhere from start at 100,000, 75,000, 50,000. At the end of the day, there were no exceptions. So even communities that have, here in Palm Beach County, we have some cities that have only 700, 800, 1,200 residents. All those elected officials are going to start filing this form.
And would that be the same time frame of, I think, July to file that?
Yeah, but it would be, actually, it's interesting because you're always filing it a year behind. So in July of 2024, in July of 2025, you'd be filing for 2024. So if you're in office on January 1 of 24, at any point during 24, you'd have to file a form in July of 25, looking backwards to what your assets were in 2024.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to have that training.
Sorry to be the bearer of this wonderful news.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the mayor and city council report. I'm going to start to my right. Councilmember Tharp.
Thank you. Just a couple quick ones. School starts Thursday. Everyone, please drive safe. If not, you get a nice expensive reminder from PBSO. I know they'll be out in force, so thank you in advance. Also, Saturday is our Florida Sports Hall of Fame event at the Green Acres Bowling Alley. I think 12 o'clock-ish, 1 o'clock, 1?
Sometime around after.
Sometime around there, sorry, I don't know the details. Chief, thank you. Captain, thank you. If you guys could also extend Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, thank you as well. Pine Ridge 4 South, you guys, amazing work. I got heat stroke looking at some of the guys and women, full face mask, going in with smoke. I don't know how you guys do it, so thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Dugo.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to our city manager and our firefighters, because tonight we ratified your agreement, and I really want you to know how much I appreciate you and all you do. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Diaz.
Took my comment, Ms. Dugo. Oh, my. No, that's okay. I'm going to just go ahead and add Ms. Skidmore in there, too, and to all our chiefs and fire rescue staff and our union reps, and especially Ms. McHugh as well. Thank you so much for the hard work you did.
And Councilmember Busquet.
Everybody touched on what I wanted to say. I wanted to thank all our fire rescue workers for their hard work in Pine Ridge South 4, which is in my district, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the mayor's report, I'm extremely proud that we were able to get that done. Thank you, City Manager McHugh. Extremely proud of the work that you guys continue to demonstrate, and the way that you guys represent the city is top-notch. So thank you for doing that. I just want to let everyone know I will be heading to the Florida League of Cities, making sure that I get smarter about local issues, and I'll be doing my 4 hours ethics training, which is always the most exciting part of the conference. So I can't wait to spend 4 hours listening to the same information every year. But that's That's what we do. That's what we get paid the big bucks for, and I can't wait to represent Green Acres up in Orlando. That concludes the mayor's report. Anything else? No?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting's adjourned.